Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of OchoSeis. I'm your host here, Stevie J, with my co-host James Reid. How you going, buddy?
Good man, yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just thought I'd let everyone know that since it is the first episode, the reason why it is named OchoSeis is because me and James. I actually haven't asked James whether he thinks this, but I definitely think I'm one better than Ocho.
Yeah, something like that.
It was either that or Michael Jordan plus one. It's one
Look,
of those two.
we're doing well. Doing well.
Okay, so first episode, we're going to have a chat about fantasy football. And fuck it, we may as well name the episode Fantasy King and the Dynasty because, James, you're the current Fantasy King, I believe.
I am indeed. I'm just still waiting on a trophy that is meant to be delivered, but other than that, yeah.
Was that meant to be hand-delivered? Maybe I should get Marnes or Jethro to actually hand-deliver that to you.
It'd be great if Jethro did. It'd be very sweet.
Yes, but that would also require him getting off his fucking fat ass and doing something, so I highly doubt that.
Yeah, look, there's always an issue there.
So I suppose we can do a bit of a recap on last year's fantasy draft. Now, you've got the same thing up as me here. So I guess we can talk a little bit about fantasy last year. So this was our second year of fantasy last year. Obviously, we've played personally in other leagues before. I think it's like my fifth or sixth time. I'd won a couple of the ones before that in my other leagues, but unfortunately, I've gone Scheisenhaus in the last two years, whereas you've done pretty well. You've gone back-to-back. Almost back-to-back, anyway.
Yeah, look, I've done all right.
You went from...
Would have done better last year if I'd beaten Cell.
What was the... you went... the first year you made the grand final, didn't you? You made the granny, but you lost, and then the second year you won. So you got that redemption arc against Tom. Yeah, looking back at last year's teams, apart from yourself, was there any teams that you thought were really strong across the board?
Yeah, there were a few. I really like Spatch's. Not Spatch, sorry. Tom's side.
Yep.
He had a very strong side the whole way through.
Spatch had a good team for someone that was on fucking auto draft.
Yeah, that was
Isn't
terrible.
it an abomination? Like it's just an absolute joke that there's always one cunt that doesn't actually show up for the draft and then somehow gets a good team.
It's okay. This year, I think if we do the same, I think we'll just pick for that person. Fuck.
You reckon?
I think so.
Yeah. You were thinking about possibly doing a dynasty league, weren't you?
I was. I'm still trying to get numbers for it. We've got maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah. How many do you want? How many do you want it for? Ideally,
I think we need at least a minimum of 10. Ideally 12.
Yep. See, our league now is 10, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. See, 10 is good. 12 is perfect, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So, look, we'll see if we can get even some others. I know that I've sent out a couple of messages to people. I reckon we can get 12 this year. We added that other fella into the group. I reckon we'll go pretty close this year.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And what did we have last year? We added the extra flex last year.
We did.
Now, another thing we could potentially do is add another quarterback position. If people are keen.
That'd be awesome.
I'd like to do it, but once again, it does come down to a democracy, I think, is the best way to sort things out. And it just depends whether the other guys want to. Yeah, it just depends. Because I'm pretty sure I asked that last year. Maybe they might change their mind between now and then. But
yeah, look, I think it was pretty close last year for the voting wise. I think it only came down to one vote.
I think a second quarterback would be cool, like especially because it makes you dig deeper and really have to find those players. Because if you've got 10 to 12 guys, even with quarterback injuries, you're still going to have 15 guys that are pretty up there in terms of scoring. So
yeah,
find a secondary quarterback that can do you well, it just changes up the meta of everything.
Oh, for sure. It'll be a real good challenge and something a bit different for our league as well. So,
is there anything else that you would like to change this year?
No, not really. The only other thing I thought might make things a bit interesting is if you added in kick return touchdowns or stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be fun. Fucking what's his name? What's the old mate that gets all the touchdowns every year for kick returns? Fuck. There's a guy. He used to play in the league. I don't think he's in it anymore. Is Percy Harvin?
Oh, Devin. Yeah.
Or
Devin Hester. Yeah. Hester was a good one.
Those guys would fucking reap in points.
Yes. It would be handy if they could actually be a receiver as well.
Yes. So yeah, I said this last time. I do think that you had a strong team, but on paper, I think Tom probably had the strongest team. So it was a good job of you toppling him over in the grand final. But as we both know, like, fantasy's completely unpredictable. A week later or 2 weeks later, you could have got shot in the foot, or he could have got shot in the foot, or some Mong team that's been doing shithouse could have got up, you know? It's just the
that's
perfect
it.
timing and the perfect storm. Yeah, so last year...
The other thing we need to make sure this year is that we don't go as long into the season because we started having teams resting players and shit like that.
Sorry, what did you
I
mean?
got screwed over.
What did you mean by that?
Oh, so like I think the Vikings and the Bills were two teams that sat out players coming up to those last few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
They'd already made finals.
'Cause I think we added in the extra 2 weeks this year.
Yeah,
That's
we did.
why. So it included the last two, the week 16 and 17 of the NFL were our playoffs, whereas it's normally 14 and 15, I'm pretty sure, or maybe 15 and 16 or something. But yeah, because it was the last game of the actual NFL season, like you said, players were being rested and shit, and it just completely fucked your fantasy over.
Sure
Did you have to change anyone or interchange anyone out because of the resting players? I think Tom might have. I think
there was a couple that I missed. I think it was against Searle, I reckon, and it was Diggs was one of them. Luckily, I wasn't planning on playing him anyway, but I did actually have him still in my starting lineup by accident. But there was a few other guys that missed out.
You know, we said this last time. There's fucking guys all across the board that every year in the draft, every single year, there's someone that falls that no one gets picked up, and it just so happened to be in the last 2 years, Mahomes and Jackson. I think it comes down to the fact that probably at quarterback, people are probably more used to sticking with their players that I know they're going to score well. You know, the guys like Rodgers and
I think we need
Russell
to start
Wilson.
listening to these so-called experts, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, because they've been right 2 years in a row now.
I don't see anyone not picking Lamar. This is just me personally, but Lamar, Mahomes, Watson, Wilson, those guys, they're not going to go anywhere out of the top 4 or 5. I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, we can. I suppose last time we talked about it, we kind of went back in time and then we went forward in time. What I was thinking, James, is maybe this time we could just go through position, each position from quarterback right down to running back, wide receiver, tight end. We'll include the kickers this time because we can give them a bit of love. The defense and
lovely.
Yeah, we can talk about
well needed
last year's, and then we can talk about them in this year's, I guess. So, I guess first up is the quarterback position, which is the team captain, I guess. So last year's was Lamar Jackson absolutely thumped the competition. 415 points. The next best being Dak Prescott at 337. Anyone on that list that's surprising to you, or anyone that you think last year that was a lot higher or a lot lower than you thought they'd be from the start of the year?
Look, I would not have had Dak in my top 10, so
is that because
that's a surprise.
Of him yourself, you think? Or do you think he was he was up there because of the wide receiver caliber he has?
I don't know. I think it's a mix of a lot of things. He also probably doesn't get the love that he probably deserves.
Maybe the fact that he has a fucking O-line that'll give him fucking 400 hours to throw the ball. Baker Mayfield, what?
Saying that, they were a bit injured last year, so he still did well, all things considered.
You know who doesn't have a good O-line? Those bloody Browns.
Oh, they'll be all right this year.
Hey, that's what they said last year.
They were actually... No, they didn't. Not with their O-line. They said their team would be good. Anyone you know that actually knows football and knows anything about our offensive line was like,
this is going to be painful.
But I like what they've done this year. I think they'll have one of the top offensive lines.
I agree with you. I actually think that I think the Browns will do pretty well this year. It's just funny that they had so much fucking hype. They were probably the most overhyped team last year.
I think they'll probably be one of the most overhyped teams again this year. It's just whether
they can actually live up to that this year or not.
Yeah. Look, they've got the potential to do it. They've got the players to do it. But, yeah, whether or not they do, different question.
I suppose Buffalo's in a similar instance this year. They weren't last year. They exceeded expectations. Probably had a soft draw as well, comparatively to other teams. However, you know, we're expected to win the division this year at this stage. Yeah, so there's pretty big expectations on the Bills. So it'll be interesting to see if they can pull that off. But Josh Allen at number 6 was probably a bit of a surprise for me. You just look at that percentage completion, 58.8%. It's not even 60%. That's filthy. And then I suppose he got all of his points from fucking rushing touchdowns. He had 9 rushing touchdowns last year.
Yeah, that would be most of it. And rushed for 500 yards.
Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson were the only ones that were even close in touchdowns.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you think this year of that list that you're looking through, anyone at all that you think will do much better or much worse than they are currently from last year?
I think, obviously, James Winston will be nowhere to be seen.
I don't think James is coming in 5 this year.
I don't think he will come anywhere near it unless Drew gets injured or something happens there. I like Kyler Murray up in the top 5.
I like Kyler Murray up as well. I think with his wide receivers, he'll be having a fucking field day, I think.
Plenty of weapons. They should run the ball a bit better this year because they'll have the consistency from the start of the year, not midway
Who's the
through.
Cardinals running back again? It's Kenyon Drake, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, old mate that went from...
And then they've got that Chase Edmonds as well, who's a handy running back.
So they've got a pretty good core there.
Yeah. Offensive line's still a problem there, though. But I guess we'll see how we go.
Yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to leave the top 10 and Jordan Love's going to be in the top 10 just to trigger all those Packers fans out there.
In 10 years' time or next year?
I think Matt Ryan will do pretty well again. He's always up there.
Yep.
Just looking through the list here. Ryan Fitzpatrick at number 17. What a man.
I'm curious to see if he gets a starting gig this year.
242 he did last time.
Delicious.
Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick. What a man.
What a man indeed. Saying that, I don't think he will start this year.
Yeah, you reckon he'll get booted for the rookie?
I think so. I think
is it
2-2
time?
Is ready, I would say it's 2 a time. However, they still need so many positions to be competitive. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they just sat him out for a year, went in, got a few more weapons for next year, and then gave him the keys next year. Pretty much give him a full red shirt this year.
How do you like 20 and 22 on this list? How do you reckon those two boys will go?
Yeah, look, I think they'll definitely be improvers.
I'd pick those because, in my mind, they're the people that have potential to go way up this list.
So, for those who aren't looking at the spreadsheet as we are, the number 20 and number 22, Baker Mayfield and Ryan Tannehill.
Yep.
Obviously, Tannehill finished the year on absolute fire.
He fucking ploughed at... he was at the gallery ploughing at 3 a.m., Ryan Tannehill. He basically picking the hottest chick and going, I'm going to root her.
I don't think there was many people that compared to Ryan Tannehill through the end of the season. Crazy.
He had
obviously
over
Baker.
70% passing, I'm pretty sure. What does it say here?
Yeah, he did.
I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 70.3%. That's insane. But, obviously look at Drew Brees, 74%. It's ridiculously high. Fuck, he's good.
Way too easy for him. Can I just go back to saying how I did say Ryan Tannehill was a gun, and everyone literally laughed at me and was like,
it's the
crazy?
Classic Miami curse. Everyone shit at Miami and then they go somewhere else and they're good.
And now it's the Jets. We'll watch in a couple of years when Adam Gase leaves and all the players start leaving the Jets.
Guns.
And
that's what you'll be looking at for fantasy, and hopefully like a Browns pickup of a player or something. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add to QB?
No, I'm pretty good with QB. I think we can move on to running backs.
The workhorses, the bloody stock that, and the most popular in fantasy, might I add, probably for the last 10 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
So we got McCaffrey, obviously dominant last year, absolutely dominant last year. Whether he can do it again or not, not sure. I think he will. I think he'll still be number one. Whether that gap is as big, I'm not sure about that, though.
Look, he could actually have a better year, potentially, next year. He's obviously going to get the ball just as much, but I don't know if he'll get as many receptions.
The only one that
he
went close here.
Ridiculous
was the Eckler at 1,000 rushing yards, pretty much. Everyone else wasn't... receiving yards. Everyone else wasn't even close.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's pretty insane. Look at those beautiful little rushing yards from Nick Chubb there at number 6.
Oh,
I reckon
delicious.
he'll definitely finish top 5 this year.
The only reason he won't is if... where are we on our list here? No, he didn't make our top 15. If Kareem Hunt, if he steals some of the carries like what they were doing in Minnesota. Because obviously Dalvin Cook had 1,000 yards, but their backup, I think, had close to 600 or 700 as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of timeshare going on these days, isn't there?
There is.
Do you like that?
I don't mind it from an NFL standard point, but as a fantasy football person, I hate it.
Yeah, obviously it's fucking disgusting, isn't it? Especially goal line backs. Fuck, there's nothing more annoying than them cunts.
There isn't a lot of them around at the moment, which is nice.
Yeah, it's those ones that are just frustrating, or Or you'll have, who was it last year? Fucking Tevin Coleman and
Yeah.
Matt Brader at the 49ers. And week by week, they'd flip and fucking... But I had Brader, and one week he would score... he'd have 150 yards rushing for no touchdowns, and Tevin Coleman would have 30 yards and fucking 3.
And then they had added in that Mostert as well, who had, 800 yards? Something like that?
Didn't they have that other guy as well? Isn't there another one at the 49ers that's an all right running back?
There's Jarrett McKinnon, who's injured.
Yeah, that's him.
To come back this year, so
yeah,
their running back room is stacked.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to get the starting job there.
I have no idea. I would say Coleman.
Yep.
Coleman would be my early guess.
Yep. But it'll be a lot of timeshare.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So basically what you're saying is 49ers, stay away.
Pretty much. For anyone that wants to take 49ers, there'll be high upside for one of them.
Yeah, you've just got to get the right one each week.
You've just got to guess. But you'd almost be guaranteed that they will kill it every week.
Yes.
That person, whoever is getting the starting job. It's just what Kyle Shanahan does.
Is there anyone on that list that, once again, you think is high or think is low last year or think this year could go up and down?
What have we got? I reckon Kenyon Drake will go up.
Yep.
He provides good flexibility.
He was a fucking gun for me when I got him.
Yep.
I think I got him I think I got him just as he was going to his first game as Arizona. I think I started him as well, and he scored 32 points or something.
Yep.
Yeah, he smashed it last year.
Another guy that I think could have a monster year is Joe Mixon.
Yep.
I think he will actually get the ball in the first 6 weeks, unlike he did this season.
Yep.
And
so you're thinking early on, possibly your Joe Mixon would be a gutsy player, because if he starts to decline, or you have a feeling he's going to decline, you could use him as trade bait.
Yeah, look, I look at it and go, if you've got Saquon Barkley, I think Joe Mixon is as good as Saquon.
Yep. He
has the potential in everything. Like, he can catch, he can run. He was just underused at last season.
Yep.
It's just a matter of if their head coach actually knows how to coach.
I think just calling out coaches.
It's
quite do what we want.
It's quite concerning. Like, he's as good as what Hugh Jackson is.
This is why we're called OchoSeis, because we're better than the coaches as well.
Oh, look, isn't Hugh actually at the Bengals? I'll look this up here.
Actually, not
Hugh
sure.
Jackson.
I'm not sure where the lad's gone.
I think he was anyway at the Bengals. He went back to the Bengals for a while.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds.
You're right.
Where do we go?
I'm just going to have a quick squeeze through this. Quick geeze through this list.
Yeah.
And have a squeeze. Leonard Fournette at number 13. Very unpredictable, because who the fuck knows where he's going next year.
Yep. That'll be a tough one.
Josh Jacobs at number 14. He'll probably do really well again this year.
Yeah, I think he'll be another really good player. It's just a matter of if they use him in such a workhorse role.
One bloke that I'm interested in, he played 14 of the 16 games last year, was Marlon Mack. So he finished 17th. Now, if he had played all games, he would have been looking around the top 10 mark on average.
Yeah.
Now, you like Marlon as a player, don't you?
I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
However, his stock is pretty much non-existent anymore.
Yep.
I couldn't have him in fantasy this year, at all.
You don't want him?
Nah, not with them bringing in
Philippe.
No, not even him. They got in my opinion, the best running back in the draft in Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, the running back. Old mate from. That's the thing with the running backs. We haven't even looked at the rookies this year.
Oh, rookies galore this year. But none of them really went to great starting spots. That's the hard part.
That needs it. Yeah, I think definitely stay away from Buffalo. I think Singletary will be a rough option this year.
I don't know. I'm curious.
Wrong, but,
A lot of people are talking up your draft pick, Moss. They think he's going to be a sleeper. I don't see it, but I think if we're going through the list, James Conner has to be an obvious bounce-back candidate.
Yep.
Their whole team will come back better. Juju will actually be a decent wide receiver again.
Yep.
Which no one will be taking him high, I reckon.
Yep.
But he could really provide some value.
See, at 12, this is your man.
Yes. Yes, it is. The girl Bill.
The girl Bill, yes. Where'd he go again? The Falcons, didn't he?
He did.
In the off-season. So, yeah, fuck. That's a good I just got a feeling, because, Atlanta are kind of one of those teams that, like, one year they'll be fucking incredible and make the Super Bowl. Then the next year they'll be average. Then the next year they'll be real good again. They just bounce around. Like,
they just have to stop getting injuries to their defense.
Yeah.
That's been the killer.
Yep.
Obviously, not having a good running back last year hurt them. Freeman just wasn't the same coming back.
Yeah. They've always had a pretty good offense, though.
Yeah, they're always thereabouts. It's just...
Yeah.
They just don't stay on the field long enough.
Pretty much.
But I think Gurley going into that side adds a huge piece that could be massive for fantasy. Like, they might actually use him the way the Rams used to.
I've got a
and
feeling
not be scared of him getting injured.
I've just got a feeling that Gurley's going to be the one that is going to be huge ceiling, but also potential for injury. So a lot of people will see that as, nah, I'm not going to pick Gurley. And he could slide like a fair way. And you could get him in possibly in the fucking 4th or 5th round. I just got a feeling that
Jesus.
The people that we play with, I think, aren't going to go near him.
I can tell you now, if he gets to the 3rd, I'm probably not letting him go any further than that.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking in the same boat, but it depends.
Saying that, it's such a deep, it's such a deep mix of running backs this year. Like, you look at Alvin Kamara was at 16.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
He's an elite player. Miles Sanders, another guy who I think next year, if he gets, he's going to get the starting role.
Yep.
Could walk in and be a top 5 player at the position.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about fantasy, I'm sure we can both admit, is that not only the up and downs of the players in the seasons and the unpredictability of the actual season, but the unpredictability of the draft. There's always people that take players that you're like, wow, I didn't think they'd go so high, or wow, they didn't go so low. And then there's players that slip through the cracks every time that fucking play amazingly. It's just, or you have in your head, okay, I'm going to take this at this spot and this at this spot, but then players quite often will get taken 1 or 2 picks before you, and it changes the whole dynamic.
Oh, it sure does.
That's the fun of it, though. I think that's like my favorite thing, is having someone in my head and being like, I'm going to get that player there, and then having to change on the fly.
I think my favourite thing about draft day is actually seeing who Bakes will fuck up and take.
Sony Michel at number 3.
That's probably my highlight of every draft, is what will Bakes do?
Tom Brady, number 1, because he's a Patriots fan. He fucking gets Patriots every year.
He does.
I wonder if he'll stick with Tom Brady this year at the Bucs, or whether he'll go, nah, fuck off, Tom.
I think he'll full on boycott him. He'll never touch him again. Won't even want to hear his name.
Classic Patriots fan.
Yep.
They complain when they're not winning because they're so used to fucking winning.
And they're not winning is still making finals.
Yes. That's the worst part. It reminds me of like Geelong in the AFL over the last 10 years, because they've won, or Hawthorn, because they've just constantly, between the two of them, won premierships. So when they get to a season where they've lost the grand final, or they've made the preliminary final, or the one before the grand final or whatever, and they get kicked out, they're upset by that. And it's like, well, fucking good luck. We can't even fucking make finals. Shut up.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Yeah. All right, let's move on to wide receivers.
Yep. So, I'm not really surprised by Michael Thomas at number 1. I'm probably surprised by Chris Godwin at number 2.
Oh, for sure.
Whether him and Mike Evans. So that's crazy to me, is that 2 Tampa Bay guys with Brady at the helm now are going to, they were in the top 10 last year. The only thing is, Jameis compared to Brady. Obviously, Brady's a much older guy.
Yep.
So,
Brady's not going to let loose anywhere near as much.
That's what I'm thinking. Devontae Parker at number 6 was a surprise for me.
Yeah, he finally broke out.
Yeah.
Finally. They've been talking about it. All these analysts and people I listen to have been talking about it for years, going, he can break out, he'll do it. This is his year. This is his year. And he's been shit. And then last year, the year that no one talked about him, he finally broke out.
Yeah. I wonder if he can repeat it now if Tua does start.
Well, I don't see any reason why he couldn't, if he can get his route running to be a bit better. But again, it depends on if Tua actually plays this year.
Looking at that list again, Golladay's an absolute gun at number 3. Cooper Kupp at number 4. He's the fella that regrettably we fucked up with. Everyone fucked up with.
Who was it? I reckon Bakes. Was Bakes the one who cut him?
Someone cut him, and then I had the opportunity to pick him up because I had a low waiver that week, and I ended up keeping it was someone like John Ross at the Bengals or something like that. I kept them. And I was like, I don't know if Kupp will go all right. And then the cunt just finger blasted his way to the end.
Yep, not wrong.
Because he played all 16 games last year, Kupp, so he must have started shit.
He was kind of injured there for a little bit, but not obviously enough to sit out as much as we thought.
Yeah,
look, the others, like AJ Brown, is obviously a bit of a head scratcher. No one thought he'd be that good.
Julio Jones is quite like the only one there that's like, oh yeah, Julio again in the top fucking 5. Like finishing at 175 and he missed a game. You're looking at someone that would have quite easily finished 3rd there.
Yeah, look, it's
minimum.
Crazy. Crazy is to say the least.
Murray Cooper, not surprising. DeAndre Hopkins, not surprising. Oh, maybe a little bit surprisingly low.
Yeah, if anything.
Yeah. Anywhere there that you think will go up this year? I think your man at number 17 there is probably the best one.
They had such a good draft that it makes it really tough to see where he's projected to finish this year now.
Because of rookies again.
Yeah, their whole team, the Broncos, have a stacked offense now. Like they've picked up Melvin Gordon in the offseason as a running back. They've now got 3 really good wide receivers. They've got Noah Fant, who's an elite tight end prospect. Their team is just stacked. I love what they did with offensive line. They're still probably
that's
your
little dark horse of the year, isn't it?
It is, and they're getting, after the draft, they're getting a lot more recognition than what they were. But, yeah, look, other than that, like, I go through the list and I go, I don't think DJ Chalk will be anywhere near as good.
Yeah. It's interesting looking at it from a Bills perspective, seeing 18 and 19 next to each other.
Yep.
I don't mind that. Like, that's good to me as a fan.
It could be if, what's his face?
Not
Josh
a fantasy
can
fan,
throw a ball.
Yeah. If he could hit his deep targets, we'd be set. We'd be fucking champions.
Yeah. Another player I really like that I think could have a massive year next year is Terry McLaurin.
Yep, at Washington.
Yeah, I thought he was a bit overhyped throughout the season, even though he kept performing. Yeah, he was overrated but then I kept watching his film, and he just kept performing. Like, he would make spectacular catches. Catch after catch, and I'm sitting there going, if I put on a highlight reel, he would have a lot of catches on there.
Yeah, there's a couple of low 20 guys as well, Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf, that could go way up.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I really like Metcalf.
What about 31?
What do we got? Odell.
Oh,
I don't see him getting any better. I really don't. There's just too many weapons there. There's only a certain amount the ball can kind of get spread around.
Yep.
It'll be interesting for sure.
All right, let's move on to tight ends, buddy.
Yeah, gladly.
The shit cunts of the league, the tight ends.
It's slowly turning.
Because there's only a few fucking like elite ones, and it's such a pain if you don't have one of them.
Yep, not wrong.
So, I mean, this is probably the least surprising list, apart from maybe Mark Andrews being at second.
Yeah, not wrong.
And Darren Waller coming out of fucking nowhere as well. But like, you look at everyone else on that list, like Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz, Hooper, Henry, Goddard. I mean, fucking Jason Witten at 12. Like, there's nothing really surprising there for me.
Yeah, look, I thought Hooper was a bit of a wild card. He came out of nowhere a bit. Obviously, Mark Andrews, as you said. I know I liked him coming out of college, but for him to make that kind of impact was like straight away was a bit of a surprise, especially when they already had Hayden Hurst, who I'll get to later on.
Yeah.
But I think the other big surprise was Tyler Higbee, the way he finished the season last year for the Rams.
Yeah. Who was the other Rams fella that he basically took over from? It was Everett, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he still had a decent year. What did he finish? He was
28th.
28th.
But you just go down 3 more, Reading, to 31.
Yeah.
Your nightmare.
Good old OJ Howard.
Wow. I don't think anyone expected that, to be fair.
Nah.
He definitely would have been in people's top 10 tight end list before the season.
Sure.
And with Tom Brady at the Tampa Bay as well, surely he's in people's top 10s this year.
No, nowhere near. No, because they've got Gronk.
Oh, that's right. Oh shit, I actually forgot all about that. Yeah, I retract my statement. I forgot. I actually dead set forgot about the Gronkmeister.
Yeah, so they've got Gronk, so unless he gets traded somewhere, his value is pretty much gone this year.
Yeah. Where did Ebron end up? Did he go somewhere else?
He is at... Where is he at? He did go somewhere else.
I think it was the Jets for some reason. I've got a feeling it was the Jets or something like that.
Give me 2 seconds. Steelers.
Oh.
He's gone to the Steelers.
That's not a bad pickup.
Yeah. No, good for them. He might actually have some fantasy value again this year. But overall, there's a couple of guys I'm real interested in this year. Before the draft, I was real keen on Noah Fant from Denver.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they're stacked now, so I'm still...
All right, let's just fucking take it to the kickers, the kicker-mobiles. Let's get through this. So, obviously, you had Butker in fantasy last year, didn't you? Or did you have someone else?
In the kicker department?
Yeah. Who was your kicker last year?
My kicker, I had Butker, yeah.
Yeah, the number one guy at the end.
He was. He was actually number one on my list of people I wanted.
Yeah, yeah. I believe I had Zorlin at 9, who was a little bit disappointing.
He was.
Definitely didn't think he'd be so low, but that is the kicker game, my friend.
Yes, it can be very hit and miss.
One that I'm really interested in to see how he goes this year, if he's still at Atlanta, is that Asian fella, Young Hao Ko.
Yep.
To see if he came out of nowhere. He played 8 games and scored 86 points.
Yeah.
So if you double his, if you average out his points per game, he would have been the number one.
Yeah, for sure. He was actually real good. I picked him up towards the end of the year just for matchup wise. Yep. And he really helped me down the stretch.
He had over 10 points per game.
Yeah, it was great.
Which is solid. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say about kickers because fuck them. I don't care about them.
Well, I think there'll be a few decent kickers this year. It's just a matter of where everyone's kind of gone.
Yeah.
Who was it? There was another one. I reckon it was the Cowboys. Who was the Cowboys kicker? They picked up someone towards the end of the year. Oh, that Fairbath?
Oh, yes.
Forbath?
Yeah, and he started scoring all right, didn't he?
No, it wasn't him.
Forbath?
It wasn't him. Who was it? Oh, I can't find it here. Oh, sorry. That Mayer. Brett Mayer.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
They've now... Well, they had him, and then they got rid of him, and they've now signed Zorlin.
Yeah, that's an interesting pickup. That'll be a good one, I reckon. Zorlin at the Cowboys this year.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be a good fantasy option. I reckon probably pretty safe there, as long as he doesn't get fucking injured.
I still think Butker and probably Tucker will be the two I would like.
Yeah, they're definitely the number 1 and number 2 guys going into the season, I'd say.
I would also put out there... Who was it? I can't even find where he is. That Brandon McManus.
Yeah, yep.
He could be an interesting one just for volume of how many points that the Broncos could score.
Yep.
And he had a pretty good average last year, all things considered. Like, he still finished, 11th?
Yep.
But he could be another interesting one.
Do you want to go flick over to defense, mate? I've probably got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we can do that, mate. That's easy.
We'll smash out defense in 5 minutes and we're good.
All right.
Now, the obvious fucking one. No, surely no one's seen the Patriots scoring that high.
No.
I don't think anyone predicted that. Would honestly put their hand to the heart and say, yep, I think Patriots will be at the top this year.
I think out of the top 10, realistically, I had maybe 3 teams in there that I would have thought would be in the top 10.
Yep. Of those teams that I honestly would have thought that would have been in the top 10, 49ers for sure. Ravens, but I didn't think fourth, to be fair. Probably, though, top 10, possibly. And probably... Nah, that's it. That's literally it, I reckon.
Yeah, right. See, I would have had 49ers, Ravens, and Vikings up there.
Yep.
The rest I wouldn't have had anywhere near it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, how fantasy works? But you know, we've said this a couple of times. Fantasy doesn't always reflect real life defense.
Yeah, no.
Fantasy's obviously planned around a lot of picks and a lot of safeties and a lot of things like that. So yeah, you get a lot of 3 and outs in real life, and the defense could dominate essentially, but not get picks, and you know, a team could get 3 interceptions that game and lose the fucking game. But in terms of fantasy, they kill it, because look at the 25 picks to the Patriots and 20 to the Steelers.
Crazy.
Fucking pick lords.
Crazy.
It is crazy. I think Buffalo, of that list, I think Buffalo, I hope they go up next year and they slide in the top 10.
Yep.
They're always a pretty perennial top 10 defense fantasy-wise anyway. There was a couple years back where Buffalo Bills scored the most, had the most sacks in the league, and I'm pretty sure they were first or second in fantasy that year. Can't remember if that was a delicious Rex Ryan year or not, but...
Jeez, I tell you what, I'm scrolling through this list, and...
Of defenses?
Yeah. And I'm looking in one statistic specifically, and that's the quarterback hits.
Yep.
The Chargers, a team that I thought would probably be in the top 10, if not top 5 for defense, only had 67 quarterback hits.
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
When you got probably the average is, 95 to 100?
Yep.
They only had 67. Like, they had one more than the Miami Dolphins.
And
only...
What? Do you want to know a team that didn't have a defensive touchdown last year?
A defensive touchdown? Yeah? Who was that?
Buffalo Bills.
There you go.
At number 11, we didn't have any defensive touchdowns and only one return touchdown. We had 95 QB hits, 14 interceptions, and so we had a pretty average, like, good year, but not amazing in terms of picks and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Where do you think number 25 is going to finish up this year?
Look, hopefully, obviously number 25 is the Browns. Their defense should be tenfold better than what it was last year.
Oh, if anyone is listening, obviously we're Browns and Bills supporters.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week or the week after, whenever we decide to do the second episode, we're probably looking at doing Browns, maybe the Bills after. So we're gonna hit you with our teams first.
Look, I think they'll be a lot better. Having Joe Woods come in as defensive coordinator will help a lot.
Yep.
He brings the kind of defense that probably fits our team a lot more.
Yep.
Like, we had man corners from the previous regime, and then all of a sudden last year we had a zone defense.
Yep, so that changed all the schematics for it.
Which both, Grady Williams in particular, cannot play zone overly well.
Yep.
And they had him trying, because he was a high pick, to push into zone defense, and he didn't do great. I think.
Isn't it weird how sometimes coaches try and make players do things that aren't particular to their skill set?
I think it'll work well, being that they did have that year to grow into it, and now we'll go back to what they've done well, so that when they do get the zone setups at times, they should be a little bit more adequate with it.
Yep.
But overall, I think the defense has definitely gotten better, and should be. They'll have the potential to rush the passer. I mean, anytime you have Myles Garrett in a defense, and Olivia Vernon if he's healthy, they're two elite rushers. So they just need to stop the run a bit better.
Mm-hmm. All right, just to finish off really quickly, let's just do a little bit of a game.
Yes.
I'm just going to say who I think in our league will be the top 5 picks in order, regardless of who picks.
Okay.
So I think number 1 pick this year will be Lamar Jackson.
You reckon he will go number 1?
Yep, I think Lamar Jackson will go number 1.
Yeah, right.
I think McCaffrey will go number 2.
Yep.
I think it's hard to say because I know the people playing. So Zeke Elliott could go number 2.
Yep.
Or Derrick Henry, I think will go number 3. Sorry, it'll be Henry or Elliott in that order, and then number 5 will be another running back. I reckon probably Nick Chubb.
There you go. I think number 1,
maybe Saquon if people want it. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd say for me, number one, I reckon will be McCaffrey.
Yep.
I think number two will be Saquon.
Yep.
Obviously, he was injured this year, but when he comes back, I think if he gets out of that top few, people will regret not taking him. I think number three would probably be... it'd be a bit of a toss-up for me between Elliott or... I've just blanked on his name. Dalvin Cook, I reckon, will be another one that'll be up there.
Yeah, that's pretty much the five.
And look, I'd probably have Lamar up there or Patrick Mahomes. I think either way.
I actually think that there's going to be two quarterbacks going in next year in the first round. I actually think, and I think Lamar and Mahomes will go in the first round.
I think they'll be thereabouts for sure. The other sneaky,
if one of them's there at the low two round, they for sure need to get picked up.
Oh yeah, I think Derrick Henry may be another one that might slide. I know that they're feeding him the ball now. Finally.
Yep.
But sooner or later, his big body's going to get injured.
Yep.
And I just think the way he runs gives you potential for injuries. But
we've probably got a lot of players that play our league that like him, though.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Any final words, my sir?
I think I am looking forward to this year's draft. That would be my words. Yeah. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can get a few more people for this Dynasty League that I want to start up.
Yep.
So if any of the listeners want to get involved,
you want to say, yes, I'm pumped to do this podcast with you, Stevie.
Oh, that was a given, mate. That is a given.
You're like, oh, well, I've got my dick out right now, and it's pretty good, so it is what it is.
Now, I am so keen for the podcast and everything moving forward.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Let's just get it done.
We'll get some special guests on. Thanks, everyone, and have a great night or day wherever the fuck you are.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Catch ya.